Summer is upon us. I don't know when you're going to be watching this, but it's the way Mercury retrograde literally starts tomorrow. With all that being said, I also have to go to the store today, so I'm kind of scared that something's going to happen to me. Hi. Hello. Welcome back to my witch obsession. And in today's pick a card, Pokemon card reading, we will be asking the question, why are others intimidated by you? And perhaps like, who is intimidated by you? Now, somebody commented, they were like, you should bring back the Pokemon cards. Those are great. And I was like, oh my god, literally? Let me bring them back right now. So yeah, they're back today. I have a whole collection of them because my brothers collected them and then I just like took them. So sorry, not sorry. But I always feel like the reason that this one came to mind is because, like, me personally, I always feel like people aren't intimidated by me, or I'm like, oh, why would people be intimidated by me, you know? But feelings are crazy, y'all. Like, we just cannot control them. And I was also thinking about it because I was like, I just feel like it's just like interesting because I saw this video last night and it was like, if someone's trying to intimidate you, it's because you've already intimidated them. And that like sent me into a whole loophole. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Let me do a reading on this. But yeah, we have 4 piles here. We have pile 1 with Cherubi. Then we have, don't expect me to put them down perfectly again, I'm sorry. Pile 2 with Meryl. And then pile 3 with Zubat. And pile 4 with Pumpkaboo. So yeah, if you've already chosen which card you want to, or which group you want to go to, you know, timestamps are in the description box. And also, if you would like to buy a personal reading, or if you like want a personal reading, the Etsy shop that I sell those at are linked in the description box because people sometimes ask me like, do you do personal readings? I'm like, yeah, I do. So yeah, that's there too. So yeah, other than that, if you've already chosen your pile, see you at your reading. But if you want to listen to me ramble for an extra minute or 2 or 3, then hi. Oh my gosh, you guys. I feel like the time, like these past few days have been so like eye-opening and like transformative. Like literally yesterday I woke up and I watched a video on learning how to read and write Korean and I was like, girl, let me watch this right now. And I actually started like getting a hold of it, like getting the hang of it. And so I was like texting my parents because like I can speak and like understand Korean pretty fluently, but I cannot read or write it. So like I don't know, like that's a whole journey all on its own. But also like I just feel like I just been feeling some sort of way because it feels as if though like these past few days have been transformative because I've been like having a lot of realizations about how I felt and how I've been treated in the past. And the reason this kind of got brought up is because I read my old diary and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe how we used to let myself feel and I cannot believe how we used to let people treat me, you know? So it just like it sent me into a loophole and like kind of a good loophole, you know, where I was like mad and like kind of furious honestly, but not like in a bad way, but more so in like a I would never let that happen to anyone I cared about, so why would I let that happen to myself, you know? And so it was just like this eye-opening realization, and I even told my mom about it, you know? I was like gossiping on the phone with her. She's so funny. I swear, like when she's on the same page as me, we're just always on something. I don't really know. But yeah. And I don't know, like I was so excited to talk to you. Literally I cannot film on a day where I don't like where I'm not prepared to film. I don't know how to explain it. Like if say it was yesterday, I'm going to film today. So like if yesterday I wasn't like in my head like okay, I'm going to film tomorrow. It's just like I can't last minute decide to film. You know what I mean? It's just like I hate pulling up like talking to you guys or like reading for you guys if I'm not like 100% into it. And like that sounds like, oh my god, you like so genuine and stuff like that. But it's like genuinely, I feel like that's like how I will burn myself out. Like that's literally how I feel like I will like destroy like everything. I don't know. So like that's how like I just like get myself in a mindset the day before filming, and that like I don't know. It just makes me so excited because I freaking love filming. I love talking to you guys, but it's just like it'd be getting tiring sitting here for like 3 hours just talking, you know? If y'all ever done that, y'all know what I mean. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just like in a goofy mood right now. Like I feel kind of iconic, and I feel kind of like at peace with everything. It feels like everything's kind of leveled out. It feels like everything's just about to work out. Like everything so far has worked out. So I was like, okay. The only thing that hasn't worked out is I don't have all the jewelry that I want yet. So I'm gonna need the universe to like start serving so I can start serving too. So yeah, that's all I have for today's ramble. I thought there was gonna be more, but like I completely forgot everything, and that's just kind of what came up. So yeah. See you at your reading. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate everyone that listens to the rambles because, I don't know, it's just like such an honor to me that you would dedicate like 2 to 3 minutes a day just to listen to little old me. So yeah, I'll see you at your reading. I'll see your reading. Hello, pile 1. If you chose Cherubi, this is going to be your reading for Why Are Others Intimidated by You? A little bit about Cherubi, if you don't know, it is the pre-evolved form of Cherim. It's a grass type, and it was introduced in Generation 4 in the Sinnoh region, I believe. And it was introduced as part of the honey tree gimmick. So the way you'd catch it in its debut generation, you'd like slather honey on these trees, and then like you come back like a whole day later, and there would be a bunch of different Pokemon there, but Cherubi was one of them. And I remember I freaking loved Cherubi. I used to have a Cherubi plushie, but I'm now realizing that I have no idea where that thing went. And now I'll have to text all the group chats later and be like, hey, yo, remember this plushie? Or maybe I'll just go on eBay and look for it. I don't know. I don't know. That's a weird memory that just got unlocked. I like vividly remember it too. That's so weird. But yeah, it's a cherry Pokemon, and I think that's kind of comical because like low-key, my brothers and I are all like kind of allergic to cherries, like especially my oldest brother. He will like die. Anyways, why are others intimidated by pile 1? Why are others intimidated by pile 1? I kind of want to take this one. Queen of Wands. Well, I mean, I'm sure y'all know what the Queen of Wands means. Why are others intimidated by pile 1? Ooh, I'm gonna take this one. And Page of Wands. I feel like you have like this fierce curiosity about you. And 6 of Cups. We're going to continue to shuffle the deck later, but I just wanted to mention the bottom of the deck. But with the Queen of Wands and Page of Wands, there's this curiosity about you and this kind of like firmness about you. You know, like when someone, like you're open-minded and you're willing to hear others out, but simultaneously it shows that you are willing to stand by your beliefs and your opinions, and that you aren't going to like back down in a fight. You know what I mean? I'm also picking up that like the people who are most intimidated by you are those that struggle severely with people pleasing. And I'm not saying like, because I feel like people pleasing is very prevalent and it's very like in some way ingrained in all of us, and it's something that we are all working on. But like, you know, like when somebody is just like almost like just spineless, or when somebody literally just like, how do I say, they're so flimsy and they give in so easily, you know, they have no backbone. And I feel like these are the people that are very intimidated by you. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of people that resort to talking behind your back because they just like, they are too afraid to simply come up to you and tell it to you, despite the fact that you probably think it would be way more noble if someone said it to your face as opposed to behind your back. I'm sure you know what I mean, pile 1. But there's just this kind of like, I'm not saying you are, but you have like this pugnacious air around you. Kind of like this like air about you where like you're not going to back down from a fight and you're very much ready to compete. You may also just be a very competitive person, and whether or not like I relate. I'm a very competitive person, but I feel like maybe sometimes you can be very friendly about it, but other times I feel as if though like maybe you do rage when like you're losing or something. So like if you're like playing a video game or you're playing like a board game or something and you start losing, I feel like you get a little hot-headed over it, or you are the kind of person that's like you will just not accept defeat, you know? It's not even, you know, maybe those examples are a little bit far-fetched and it may only apply to a few of you, but the general point that I'm trying to chalk up here is that you are somebody who is competitive and somebody who does in fact like winning. We have a lot of fire energy here, so you could be a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, especially like emphasis on that Leo and Aries, particularly in the Sun or Mars. And I just feel like you have like this very flamboyant energy about you. Like there's just something about you that's just so fierce. I also feel like the way you kind of like present and assert yourself is very, it's just very like tasteful. Like I don't know how to explain. Like you always look very sharp, and I feel like you kind of have like this regal energy about you, especially since it is the Queen of Wands, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like, you know, like if you are to go to like a prom or like a big event or like a wedding, like you will be the person that pulls up like all done up, you know, you're looking good. And I just feel like people, like you're the kind of person that like you would literally go to a wedding and instead of everyone looking at the bride, they're like looking at you, and it's just kind of, it's kind of funny, you know, because you just catch so many eyes. And I know you know what I mean. I wouldn't be surprised if when you go on to public, people stare at you or people kind of like sneak glances at you. And probably a lot of the time they give you side eye because they're too like nervous to actually just full on look at you because they get nervous that you'll like catch them looking. But I feel like you're intelligent enough to know that A, they were looking in the first place, or B, you already caught them looking, you know? And I feel like this is another thing that just kind of intimidates people, especially people that are more fond of you. I feel like you are a very, like, you're very observant and you don't really let things slide like that. I feel like most of that, maybe you've had people in the past try to like do things or like be like sneaky and you like catch them, you know, and maybe not even all the time in a bad way, you know. It's not like these people are being sneaky to like hurt you or something, and maybe in the past that has happened, and I feel like you caught these people way before they thought they were getting away with it. But you know, this is such a very specific example. You're gonna make fun of me, but I remember this one time. Okay, so this is so random. But I used to like make kimbap with my mom, and she knows I didn't like it when she would cut the green onions with scissors because like the pieces were like too big. I don't know. And so she would like, I would force her to use a knife or I just cut them myself, you know? And I remember one day I heard her cutting the green onions with scissors, and I was like, I said out loud with my back turned to her, you know what? Today's been a very busy day for you, and I've noticed that you've been very stressed, so I'll let you cut the green onions with scissors today. And she like jumped when I started talking, and she was like, oh my god, I was trying to be so quiet, I didn't think you'd hear. You know what I mean? It's just like that vibe of like you don't let things slide, or like you, people think you don't notice, but you literally do. And maybe not all the time you say something, so as a result I feel like that like adds on to the intimidation factor, because it's this vibe of like, you know, did pile one catch on? Did they know or do they not know? Am I, you know, because sometimes you catch up on the most detailed things ever, but other times it's just like, it seems as if though you didn't notice, but there's just this feeling that you did notice. So as a result, people get all nervous, people get like anxious, people are like, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't be surprised if the people you attract are very blunt or very honest with you, or or maybe sometimes they're a little bit shy, you know, they're like, hey, I wanted you to know that I did this without you. And you're like, yeah, I know. And they're like, oh, and you're like, it doesn't bother me. You could have just told me, you know? And I wouldn't be surprised if you are also a little bit like, not even a little bit, like you have very high standards, and in so many different ways, you know, with the people you surround yourself with, the food you eat, the cars you drive, everything that you do is just like, you have like this regal energy about it. You know, I keep saying that, and you have like a very high taste. How do I say this? As high taste is not a vibe. I hate the way that sounds. Like, refined taste. There we go. And so, like, I wouldn't be surprised if you're, like, in public and you literally don't even have a single piece of lint on you. Or you have a really nice purse if you carry purses. Or, you know, I just feel like, you know, it doesn't really matter. It's just the point is that you are very clean. Even if you are, like, bumming, or even if you're, like, you know, like, you're just, like, not done up. You're, like, barefaced or something. That kind of vibe. You're still kind of, like, have this air about you where you're doing that on purpose, you know, like you understand that you still look good, you know. And I was also gonna say, I feel like with the high standards thing, you are also the kind of person where, this is a very specific example, but if you have friends come up to you and they're like, I got back with them, I got back with my ex, you're like, girl, what's wrong with you, you know? I feel like that's the kind of vibe. And maybe because of that, people get very nervous that, like, they don't want to report news to you, or they get very apprehensive to tell you certain things because they know you'll give them their honest opinion. But I feel like that's because if someone's in your circle, it's because you care about them and you are very much willing to be honest with them because you care about them, you know? Like, you're very big on that. Like, you project your high standards onto people because you want the best for others too. Like, I feel like you never have malicious intent, or you're never like truly out to get somebody, which further probably adds to your confusion as to why people are so, like, scared of you, or why people would be, like, intimidated by you, or, like, why others would, like, do you incorrectly in the first place, as if they couldn't just talk to you, you know? What else? Why are others intimidated by pile 1? Why are others intimidated by pile 1? We have the star. And what else? Why are others intimidated by pile? Oh, wow. 2 cards just flopped out, so we'll just take those. And it also messed up the way the cards were laid out, so that's something. But you could also, I've sensed a lot of fixed energy from you, honestly. We also have 4 of Swords and Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, with the Knight of Pentacles, I'm glad that popped out because you do give me, like, Virgo vibes, but you also give me Sag Rising vibes because of that Virgo midheaven. I feel like you could also have, like, a Capricorn rising. Just something that, like, is, like, would... I'm, like, stumbling all over my words. But something that has, like, a very potent midheaven, or, like, a potent 10th house. Or you may have a lot of 10th house placements throughout your chart, you know? Like, maybe your Saturn or, like, your Mars or something is in the 10th house. Or your Sun. But, you know, regardless of the case, with the star card, we also have Aquarius here. And I'm bringing all these placements up because I just feel like they all, like, solicit a person who is very serious about progress and somebody who does not like to waste their time or have their time wasted. So I just feel like you've had previous experiences. I feel like it really only takes one experience for you to learn your lesson, and I feel like maybe you're a little bit stubborn about it too, to where, like, you don't really take other people's advice, or you don't really listen to other people. I feel like you're the kind of person that likes to, like F around and find out, if you know what I mean. And also, people, I remember I cursed in a video once, and people were like, oh my gosh, you cussed. And it's like, child, if y'all knew me in real life, y'all would know that I cuss like a sailor. I just don't like cussing on here, I don't know why. But anyways, with the 4 of Swords, I also feel like you're very big on your boundaries. I feel like you may have had a lot of important lessons when it comes to your boundaries. I wouldn't be surprised, because I do feel as if though, like, you're a very giving person and somebody who is very ready to lend a hand. You just are so ready to help people. You know, you are a very giving person and you're somebody who's very generous. I wouldn't be surprised if you're also a very good gift giver, which kind of, like, adds on to the intimidation factor, because, like, I feel like people get nervous when they're exchanging gifts with you, because they're like, oh my gosh, did pile 1 get a more expensive gift than me? Or like, oh my gosh, I feel like pile 1 got me such a good gift and I only got them this, you know? But with the 4 of Swords, the reason I'm saying boundaries is because the 4 of Swords deals with, like, rest, rejuvenation, recuperation, and, you know, like, I feel like rest is a huge indicator of boundaries, or a huge indicator of self-care, or taking care of yourself, or thinking things through, you know? And she also looks so comfy in this card. Like, do you see her? She's all, like, laying down, like, let me be like her. But I just feel like people very much understand that you will not tolerate their BS, or you will not tolerate people walking all over you. And people, anyone senses this, okay? Pile one, every single person that you like run into and interact with, they very much understand this about you, that you are not somebody that is going to be taken advantage of, or you're not somebody that is going to just be on the sidelines while someone, like takes advantage of you, and it's like, if it does happen, it's because you let it, because you're giving another chance, or it's because you are testing someone. But I also feel like it kind of goes like a bunch of different directions, because I feel as if though, like, maybe with all this fixed energy that I'm picking up on here, people probably also get very close to you, and I feel like you have gotten people that have gotten very close to you and very comfortable with taking advantage of you, or very comfortable with how much you give, and I do feel as if though, like, you do have a breaking point, and you do very much have a meter that just explodes when somebody starts, like, pushing your limits, because I feel like you very much are okay with giving and giving and giving, like, you're a very independent person, and I feel like you're somebody who is very good at relying on themselves when it really matters. And so as a result, I think that you've had to cut off a lot of people, or you've had people that have had a very nasty leave from your life because they thought they could get away with treating you some type of way. And I wouldn't be surprised if others witnessed that, because I do feel as if though, with all this fire energy I'm picking up on here, you could be somebody who has a flair for the drama, or has a flair for kind of like, like, just like an eye for the drama, or an eye for, like, just kind of like that dramatic leave out or something. Leave out. Dramatic leave. I don't know how to explain it. Like, you're just somebody who is into the theatrics, or you're somebody who likes to do everything 100%, And maybe sometimes, like, people are also, like, intimidated by this, because I do feel as if though, like, you're not over exaggerating. Like, that's genuinely how you feel, and that's genuinely how you're reacting, If your friend wins the lottery for only $5, you will be the first person being like, girl, how are you gonna spend that $5? Like, you won the lottery, look at you, Like, you're like the best hype man slash wingman I'm also picking up on. And I just feel like people are also very intimidated by that, because it's just, you're very boisterous, and you're very excitable, and you're somebody who gets very hyped for people. But on the other hand, if someone is like that, then you can clearly tell that they are also not going to be the one to remain silent or be quiet when something crazy happens, Like, if someone comes at you full force ahead, you're just like, whoo, somebody hold my water bottle. Like, let me just show this person who they're dealing with, Like, I'm getting the vibes, like, it doesn't matter, like, what you identify as, but the vibes of, like, tightening your ponytail. You know what I mean? I just feel like that's so symbolic of, like, a woman about to go, like, berserk mode, or some, like, a woman that's about to, like, get down to business, whatever it may be, just, like, tightening the ponytail or putting their hair up. But you could also be a guy with long hair, but it doesn't really matter. It's just that energy, It doesn't matter if you are a woman or not. It's just that vibe that I'm talking about. And I also feel like with the Knight of Pentacles, you are very progress oriented. You're somebody who is very focused on their own pursuits. I wouldn't be surprised if you have, like, entrepreneur vibes, or you're somebody who has, like, a very high position at work, or somebody who has a very good reputation at work. You probably have, like, a crazy resume. Your resume probably is like a book or like a magazine. And I wouldn't be surprised if coworkers are also very intimidated by you, because it seems as if though, like, you're highly favored at work, and or you get a lot of emails from other jobs being like, please come work for us. It's just like, you're a highly desired person, and you're somebody who companies may have fought over if you're in the working field, or if you work. And I feel as if though, like, you're just somebody who is just, you're very hardworking, and you're not one to do a job 50%. Like, when you are working, like, you put your all into it, and because of that, you probably have a very good work ethic, and you're a very diligent person. I also forgot to check the bottom of the deck, so let's check. 9 of Pentacles. Girl, I'm taking this one. That is the vibe. That is the vibe you give off, pile 1. 9 of Pentacles. You see her? That's you, pile 1. We could just end the reading right here. I could have just pulled this card and be like, this is you, pile 1. This is why people are intimidated by you. And I just be like, oh, like, like, have a great day, But we also have the King of Wands on the bottom of the deck. Just so much, like, royal energy and so much just energy that indicates somebody who is all about themselves and somebody who is just like doing them, you know? And with the star card, I feel like you have like this accepting energy about you too, you know? I feel like with this Aquarius energy that comes through on this card, you don't have to have Aquarius placements, you could, but I just feel like this energy indicates somebody that is very eclectic and somebody who is very out of the norm, and not like in a bad way, you know, but like in a good way. Somebody who is into what they're into unapologetically. Like you're just very authentic and you're very unapologetically yourself. And I wouldn't be surprised if this, like, the people who are also intimidated by you are the people who feel who aren't their authentic selves. They aren't who they want to be, or they haven't done the work to become who they want to be. And it's just way easier for them to tear you down or to like be afraid of you and all of that jazz, as opposed to just doing the work on themselves, because it's just like there's a whole slew of things that go into that. But it's just pretty safe to say that a lot of the people that are intimidated by you are like these spineless people who don't take care of themselves and don't really explore their interests and let their own embarrassment like control their life, you know? And I feel like you know what I'm talking about because you've dealt with these people, Pylon. You attract all sorts of people. And I wouldn't be surprised if people get obsessed with you. I wouldn't be surprised with this 9 of Pentacles. People just, and the 4 of Pentacles. I wouldn't be surprised if you're just like laying down, you know, like being normal. You know, you're just like about to go to sleep, and then suddenly your phone starts going off. And all these people are trying to invite you out. These people are trying to get back into your life. You know, they're sliding in your DMs. Or they're just trying to like hit you up, you know. And you're like, girl, leave me alone. Like, you do not know how to treat me. Like, you literally left me alone at the party to go out with some guy, and I just do not tolerate that. Bye, girl. Or you're like, you know, you just do not deal with it. You're just not here for it. And so as a result, people are like, girl. But I also feel as if though, like, you're also probably into like some, like, not weird, but, you know, like out of the norm stuff. And I hate saying that in a way that could possibly come off in a way that's like, oh, like, it's bad. But the truth is that like you're just into what you're into. And I don't think you even care if like it came off that way. If someone was like, it's weird, like in a bad way, you know, I feel like you just do not care. And that's probably something that also really intimidates people. You literally just do not care. Like maybe you cared a lot in the past, but I just feel like if something doesn't make you feel good or something isn't your vibe, you're just like, yeah, I don't care. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people get under your skin and I feel like you laugh at them. Like it gives me, there's this girl on TikTok and her name is Drew, and she's just like always making fun of people, like not like in a bad way, but like just like men that like are making fun of women and are clearly like very sexist and misogynistic. She'd be like laughing at them and like making fun of them. I feel like that's your vibe, you know, like whether or not you actually do that, you're just like, you think it's funny when people try to come at you sideways, or you think it's funny when people are being like dumb. And so I think that adds to the intimidation factor. They're like, oh my gosh, she literally doesn't care. You know, like they literally do not care. Pile what doesn't care. Why else are people intimidated by pile 1? Why else are people intimidated by pile 1? Oh wow. We have the Knight of Wands. So many wands in this reading. You get what I'm saying? Oh, I want to take this one. And 3 of Pentacles. I feel like you're also somebody who, and 8 of Swords, this is how people feel around you. I'm not going to lie. I feel like with the 3 of Pentacles and 8 of Swords, you're very good at taking control over a situation. I wouldn't be surprised if you're that friend where if you go in like a group of people, maybe to like a mall or something, you'll be like, hey, where are we going? And people are like, oh, we were just following you. Or like, oh, like I thought you knew what we were going to do on Saturday. Or like, oh, I thought, you know, like people just naturally put you in control, or people just naturally like decide that you're going to be the one to decide things because like you just seem like so firm, you know, you just seem so like ready to do something, or you just seem like you're the kind of person that has already made up their mind. You come off as a very decisive person, Pile 1. Whether or not you actually are, But I also feel like with the Eight of Swords on the bottom of the deck, I wouldn't be surprised if people feel like powerless against you. And not people that you are like you care about, but more so people that have gotten down with you or people that have gotten into an incident with you in a strictly negative way, let me be honest with you. And I feel like these people feel very powerless against you because like it's so hard to deny that you were right, you know? It's just so hard to work around that, even for like people who struggle with narcissism or people that are very, you know, manipulative or whatever it may be. They still find it very hard to find a way around the fact that like they may have won the battle, but you literally won the war. And I wouldn't be surprised because it's just like not once in this reading does it suggest that you are the kind of person that would do people the way they have done you. You know, you are somebody who really has a lot of compassion and a lot of love to give. You know, like with all this Wands energy here, it's just like you're a very passionate person and you're very much willing to work with people. Like you're probably really friendly and very nice, very magnanimous, and just like very social. Some of you could be extroverts, but it's just with this being said, people realize that the way that they feel or the way that they've treated you, the ones that have done you wrong, are the people that just realize that they were projecting onto you, or people that were just taking advantage of you, or they just had a strong reaction because like you care about yourself and they would rather you not care about yourself so that you can care about them. You know what I mean? And I also feel as if though like you're somebody who just, you don't pay attention to these people, but these people have talked about you, and these people clearly, I wouldn't say talked about you, maybe some of them have. It's impossible to say that these people have some, like at some point have not had your name in their mouth, let's be real here. But I also feel as if though like, even if that isn't the case, even if these people aren't talking about you, people notice that you guys aren't friends anymore, or like that, you know, and it's just like your reputation is just so like reliable and just so done correctly that people naturally believe you. People like you aren't expecting anyone to believe you. You know, you don't care whether or not these people are on your side, and that just further adds to this intimidation factor that we've been talking about here. But I also feel like these people are just kind of like, dang, it takes a lot for pile one to get mad, or wow, I've never seen pile one cut off people like that, or you know, like you know something's crazy when pile one gets mad about something, or like why would you ever drop pile one? They don't even do anything bad, you know. So it's just like these people are very intimidated by you, and people very much understand that like you aren't going to tolerate people that treat you like that, you know, especially people that may have associated with the people that you cut off with. They're like, oh geez, like you my friend and all, but I'm not messing with pile one, sorry, you know. So yeah, I think I'm gonna sum up your reading by saying pile one, like you're just a very royal, regal kind of vibe energy. You could have major Leo or like fifth house energies in your chart. You could also have like a fixed fifth house. You know, you could have Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius in your fifth house, or like whatever it may be. You could also have like a lot of Virgo or like just fire in your chart. It doesn't matter if you do or not, but the point is that you're somebody who is very passionate, very fiery, and somebody who intimidates, like people are intimidated by you because you are just so like in your own zone, and you're somebody who knows how to upkeep themselves, and someone who knows how to groom themselves very well too. Somebody who takes care of themselves, and somebody who is very big on their own boundaries and very big on their own progress in their life, and just somebody who's just very invested in themselves, and that you are very open-hearted and that you will like accept anyone with open arms. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that you're going to tolerate somebody treating you incorrectly, or that you aren't going to tolerate, you know, like prejudice or like discrimination or anything of the sorts. And people that have had the unfortunate event of like the misfortune, there we go, the misfortune of mistreating you or doing you wrong, they have gotten the hammer, and people have witnessed that, and people heard about it, and people know about it, whether or not you care. And these people are also intimidated by you. So yeah, that's all I have for you, Pile 1. Thank you so much for watching. If the reading resonated, do like, comment, and subscribe. I offer personal readings in my Etsy shop. That will also be linked in the description box below. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Again, I love you. Bye. Hello, pile 2. If you chose Meryl, this is going to be your reading for why are others intimidated by you, and perhaps who is intimidated by you, especially. But a little bit about Meryl. It is a water type. It was changed to a water fairy type in Gen 6 when fairy types were introduced. And I believe it was introduced in Generation 2, so I think in the Johto region, and it was also a Pikachu knockoff Pokemon, but it was like less obvious because it was like not electric, and it was, it doesn't really look like Pikachu, but we love Meryl. It's the evolved form of Azurill, which was introduced in Gen 4, and the pre-evolved form of Azumarill. And if y'all know anything about Pokemon, y'all know Azumarill is crazy. Super cute though. Anyways, let's get right into it. Whew. Why are others intimidated by pile 2? Why are others intimidated by pile 2? Kind of want to take this one. We have the 6 of Swords. And let's see. Why are others intimidated by pile 2? Why are others intimidated by pile 2? This one. The High Priestess. Okay. You have a strong intuition, pile 2, and everyone seems to notice this. Everyone seems to understand that you know something. I don't know. And on the bottom of the deck, we have the Empress. Ooh. Phew, chow. But I just feel like with the 6 of Swords, the first thing that I picked up on is you come from like a very intense place. And what I mean by that is I just feel like you're very in tune with your emotions and you have overcome a lot in this life, pile 2. The 6 of Swords to me is about transition. It's about moving forward. It's about leaving something behind. And I feel like you guys have really dealt with a lot. You guys have gone through a lot. And people are very intimidated by the fact that you seem to leave every situation that you've gone into like unscathed. Like, not like, even if it like left you crazy and if it left a bunch of scars on you, it doesn't really seem that way because of the way you handled it. And I feel like what I'm trying to say about this is if you have come from a toxic household or if you have come from a toxic friendship, those that are more fond of you and people who know about you more are very intimidated by this fact because they very much realize that you are overcoming any obstacle that gets in your way and that there will be a certain point where it makes me think of Rolling in the Deep by Adele, You can and will leave someone in shambles, and not because you did something to them, but because they simply cannot live without you. People need you way more than you need them, and with the High Priestess, you definitely recognize this about yourself. I feel like with the Empress on the bottom of the deck, you just exert this energy of somebody who is very abundant and somebody who has their own resources that they can turn to in a time of crisis or in a time of need. And it makes me think of new, like bomb shelters, back in the day when everyone have like a steel box in their backyard or something like that. And I just feel like you are kind of like you have your own metaphorical bomb shelter, and that you are somebody who will very much take care of themselves when needed, and that you really don't need people. And because of that, people are very intimidated by you, especially people that are very codependent or people that have a different attachment style from you, because I feel as if though people come into your life and they feel paranoid because they feel like you don't need them or that you don't want them in their life, or in your life. You don't want them in your life, and you may be like, girl, that is crazy. But the reality of it is that people are very clingy with you, or people are very attached to you, whether or not they're actually in your life. I feel like people have been booted from your life, and these people are the people that are especially intimidated by you because they, for once in their life, they realized that they couldn't take advantage of an emotional person or somebody who had a lot of feelings. They couldn't do what they normally do, and it was just like holding up a mirror to their face, and it was just a huge moment of uncomfortable self-realization, and whether or not they deny it, it doesn't really matter. The point is that I feel like you reflect a lot of the energy that you are given back to people. Heavy Taurus and Pisces vibes. I feel like those are the signs that will be and Scorpio. I feel like those are the signs that will be treated like they treat people the way people treat them, you know? And I wouldn't be surprised if people have witnessed it and they get very intimidated, you know? It's just you're in public and somebody's, you know, that you're out with treats you weird, or somebody in public like says something to you, you're not gonna be like, oh, like, you know, I feel like you're gonna say something back, be like, or like you'll give them like the nastiest glare. I don't know what it is about you, Pile 2, but I feel like you have like an RBF, or you just have like a very sharp, you just have very sharp eyes, you know, like your stare or your gaze could literally like cut through steel beams or something. I don't even know. It makes me think of water that's being shot full force, and it can like water like can break anything. It's crazy. I don't know. And the reason I mentioned that is because it made me think of Juvia from Fairy Tale, and she was like, when water is given the proper amount of force, it can rip through steel. And I was like, girl, yes. But anyways, I digress. I just feel like you have like this very piercing quality about you, and I don't think that anyone can really put their finger on it. It's just with the High Priestess, I feel like this is all based on vibes, and it's all based on that initial gut feeling you get when you meet somebody, you know, where you can be like, oh, like I don't like them, or ooh, like I like them, or you know, anything in between or anything outside of that. It's just people immediately get this uncomfortable feeling about you, and because with that, like, not like in a, oh, like this person makes me uncomfortable, but more so in like a, wow, this person does not, like they're kind of intimidating, you know? Like obviously that's what the reading's about, but it's very hard to describe because like you just have like this mysterious alluring quality about you, and you probably get this a lot in my other readings. I wouldn't be surprised if when you watch any other reading, even outside of my own channel, like you probably get a lot of that you're mysterious, or that you're very alluring, or that you're very, you know, it's just hard to put down what it is about you. But I feel like that's the best way to put it. And I do think that that's kind of the general consensus across the board for whoever runs into you. But I will say the overthinking that follows, or the thought process that follows after that initial gut feeling, is really where the creme de la creme is. Because I feel as if though, depending on who gets that gut feeling about you, the way they think about it is just very different. So I'm actually going to pull some more cards to kind of provide some more context on that. But why are people intimidated by Pile 2? I want this one. The Devil. Oh. Wait. Why are people intimidated by Pile 2? You could have cat eyes. I don't know. Like, just like something about you is very catty. I don't know. That's for some of you, not all of you. That's a very particular message. Why are people intimidated by Pile 2? Just some kind of... The Fool. Yeah. I just feel like it's the way that you can go to hell and then come right back. Be like, hey guys, I'm back. And people are like, oh, you know. And Four of Wands. Oh my gosh, you know what vibe that gave me? With the Devil card, the Fool, and Four of Wands, you know when like you in like shows or something, they leave the main character or like the protagonist to like die in a ditch or something, or they leave them to, you know, like suffer, and then that person just like comes back to life, or like they don't come back to life, but you know they're still alive and they survive and they come back, and the person's like, I thought I got rid of you, you know, oh, I thought I destroyed you, you know. It makes me think of that chicken from Family Guy that Peter kept fighting, and every time the chicken's literally left bludgeoned to death on the floor, like at the very end, he still opens his bloody eyes. Oh my gosh, you know, that's the kind of vibe you give me. Like you just have this like crazy regenerative energy about you, to where you can literally come back from anything. And I feel like that's very intimidating, because it's like people can subject you to whatever they want, but in the grand scheme of things, you will still come back out of it even stronger, even more abundant, and kind of like legendary, you know? And I just feel like these people kind of get annoyed by that. They feel like, you know, they're like, oh my gosh, you know, it's like cockroach vibes. Like, you can't get rid of it, you know? And if you do, like, other cockroaches are just gonna come, you know? I'm not saying you're a cockroach, but I feel like people who really dislike you kind of, you know what I mean? But it's just like your survival skills are insane. And on top of your survival skills, like, girl, if these people were scared of your survivor skills, wait till they see your thriving skills. Like, they're gonna have to put on sunglasses. I don't know. Like, they're gonna have to tape them on every time they're around you. But with the devil card, I'm not gonna lie, Pile 2, you're hot. Like, you have pretty privilege. Not that the other pilots don't, but there's something about you, especially if you do have like Scorpio or like Capricorn within your chart, especially in the Venus or the rising, or like in the moon sign even. I just like something about you. Like, you are just like, you're beautiful. And I wouldn't be surprised if you catch a lot of people looking you up and down, or I wouldn't be surprised if people do not talk to you. You know, if you get a lot of random stares, or if people don't like compliment you, or like people don't often like talk to you, it's because like you're intimidatingly hot. Like, you are just so, see, literally they had to call an ambulance. They hear me talking about it. But I just feel like you just are so, I don't know, like, you're just beautiful. Like, that's the best way to sum it up. And the reason I'm saying this is because the devil card, I do feel as though like refrains a lot to, not refrains, but it references a lot of physical attraction. But I also think that it heavily like is, how do I say, it indicates a lot of allure, and it indicates a lot of attraction, so much so that it's like lust. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if you've had people lusting over you, and it doesn't matter like what you identify as. You've had people from all sorts of different shapes, sizes, backgrounds. It doesn't matter. There's been a lot of people just attracted to you, and people that probably obsess over you. And you may not think so. You may be like, girl, but you'd be surprised. Somebody's always watching, especially with how many people there are on this planet. Like, we are never alone at this point. And I just feel like people are so drawn to you. And I wouldn't be surprised if you can't get people away from you. And you very much understand this, so you probably have a special relationship with that block button. Block as in BLOQUE, you know, with sparkles all over it. Just the block button. And it makes me also think of this episode of SpongeBob. You remember that episode of SpongeBob where they had that box and they were like playing, it was Patrick and SpongeBob were in it, and they were like imagination. And I remember Squidward was like, what are they doing? You know, like, they're stupid. And then, you know, when the box is closed, they sound like they're having fun, and that like they're partying, and you know, they're getting down, and they actually sounded like they were hiking, you know. And Squidward would be like, oh my gosh, like, what is going on in there, you know? It's that kind of vibe. Like, I feel like people get a lot of FOMO around you, or like the fear of missing out when it comes to you, because they feel as if though if they aren't a part of your life, they feel like they're missing out on something big, or they feel as if though like they just lost something. And I feel like the people that are very close to you do get very paranoid about that, because I do think that you've attracted a lot of clingy people, especially lovers, or like people that like want to be with you like romantically. I wouldn't be surprised if these people literally just want to be with you. And I wouldn't be surprised if you've attracted a lot of like toxic people that way. People who just like obsess over you, and people who want to control you probably. I wouldn't be surprised if you've attracted narcissists, or people that just like resort to literally trying to like whittle your self-esteem down, or like control you, you know, like keep you in a jar vibes, just because they feel as if though like there's no way to tie you down, or there's like no way that you would like continue to be around them, because they feel like not good enough, you know. And this translates into a bunch of different ways, I will say, but I feel like the general theme in that kind of like message is that you're somebody who is just so like, you're your own savior, you know, and you're somebody who can very much take care of themselves, and you're somebody who has already healed from crazy things, and somebody who has a lot of regenerative properties. And as a result, people get very nervous around you, you know. People like this attracts people that are very anxious to let you go or very anxious to like leave you be. I don't really know how to explain it, you know? Like they just feel like if they don't smother you, then they're just not going to get what they want out of you, when in reality you just need a lot of space and time, you know? I feel like there's a lot of people that don't understand that you like to withdraw, or that like you do like to be by yourself at times, especially if you do have like 12th house or like Pisces energy in your chart. It doesn't matter if you do or not. You could also have like a watery 12th house. You could have Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer in your actual 12th house. But I'd say that doesn't really matter, because the vibe is that you're somebody who knows how to take care of themselves, and you're somebody who very much knows what they need, and you're somebody who really needs to sit with their feelings for a while. I feel like your emotionality also really intimidates people, you know? I just feel like maybe people get paranoid that you're feeling some sort of way, because I think that a lot of people very much understand that nowadays, like, feelings are not something you can control. And so as a result, I feel like people get anxious that you will just wake up one day and feel different about them, even though that's not the case, unless you give them a reason to. Like, they give you a reason to do so, you know? And I just feel like people, maybe you've had a lot of people that ask you constantly how you're feeling, or people that are very nosy with you because they're very paranoid about how you're feeling, or they're very nervous that, like, you know? And I also feel like you're the kind of person that's just like, you're very open about your emotional, like your emotional nature, you know? And because of that, it just seems as if though you have no weakness, you have no drawbacks. Like, people are like, they need to be nerfed, you know? Because it's just, I feel like emotionality, or like being emotional, is one of the biggest ways that people manipulate others nowadays, or people control, you know? But it's just, you know, like, people use the disclosure of emotions to their own advantage, you know? And so as a result, what I'm trying to say here is that the fact that you're so open about your emotions and your feelings, people feel as though they can't really use that as leverage against you, because it's already out there, you know? They feel like they can't really disclose how you feel, or they can't really, you know, like, rat you out or something in order to get control over you, you know? Like, you're already very open about it. And I wouldn't be surprised if you're just naturally a very honest person too. I feel like you truly don't have anything crazy to hide, you know? And if you do, I feel like if you are to keep a secret, not a single soul on planet Earth will ever know about said secret. And I feel like that also kind of makes people intimidated by you, because they're just like, what is pile 2 hiding? You know, what did they know? Because with the High Priestess card and the Devil card, honestly, I just feel like you're so intuitive for your own good, and I feel like you've picked up on things that maybe you weren't supposed to pick up on, or you've heard about things, or you felt things, and you've predicted things that were probably not meant for you to hear about, but because, like, you just are so intuitive and you just are so emotional, like, you're able to pick up on things, and you're able to read between the lines quite frequently, and you're able to kind of just see things that other people don't. And as a result, this also makes people very intimidated by you, because they just feel as though they can't really hide anything from you, even if you don't directly figure out, or, you know, it's just, when people try to hide something from you, they very much understand now that there is a fast ticking timer on what they're trying to keep from you, and that they better do something with it, you know? It's just like, you don't let anything slide. And it's maybe not all the time will you do something about it. Not all the time are you going to do something about these feelings that you get. I feel like maybe sometimes you'll see something happen, and you're like, oh, I was right, you know? And then you just like move on, and it's like whatever. But people are like, oh my gosh, I got caught, you know, they know. You know, I feel like people, it's not even the fact that you'll do anything, it's the fact that you know at all that scares people, or that makes people very nervous around you, you know? And I wouldn't be surprised if you've noticed a lot of sneaky behavior around you in public, especially people like looking at you but like clearly whispering to somebody's like ear, or people just like feeling some sort of way about you and trying to like hide it, and then you're like, girl, like, I literally know you're talking about me, or I know you were doing this earlier, don't try to hide it from me. And also with the Fool card, I just feel like you're also somebody that, like, this card I think refers to the fact that you probably are a very honest person, or you're somebody who doesn't really have anything crazy to hide. And so as a result, I just feel like people, they're just like, you can't get under somebody's skin when they don't care. You know, you can't out somebody when they're already out. You know, that's just not how it works. You can't expose somebody that's already just out there in the open, you know? Why else are people intimidated by pile 2? Why else are people intimidated by pile 2? I want these 2 cards. We have the World and the 5 of Cups. Why else are people intimidated by pile 2? Why else are people intimidated by pile 2? And 3 of Swords. You know, it's very interesting because we have a lot of cards here that indicates, you know, a heartbreak or a pain, you know. We also have the Hierophant. Yeah, we have, I knew there's Taurus energy here, whether or not you have that placement. I just feel like with the 5 of Cups and 3 of Swords, let's be real here. These cards talk about emotional disappointment, emotional pain, heartbreak, you know. But I feel like in the 5 of Cups, the upside is that there are 2 cups that aren't spilled over yet. So I feel like with the World card, people very much notice and are very intimidated by the fact that no matter how much it seems as if though like your world gets burned down or, you know, just like destroyed, you always have something to turn to. You always have something good to look forward to. Or it just seems as if though no matter how much people try to bring down your spirits about something, you just don't really let it bother you. And even if it does manage to bother you and get under your skin, you just have like these fierce regenerative properties. Because in this 3 of Swords, I noticed that there's like a journal here. And, you know, I feel like journaling is like a huge indicator of somebody with regenerative properties and somebody who knows how to heal. And I feel like with the World card, it's just you're willing to let loose, you know, you're willing to let go of things that no longer serve you. You're willing to let go of people that don't do you correctly. I feel like you are the kind of person that has randomly blocked people or randomly sent a paragraph to someone be like, hey, I just don't want to be with you anymore. I don't want to date you anymore. I don't want to be friends with you anymore. Nothing. So sorry, bye. Get your final words in. Let's go. You know, I just feel like people get very surprised because they feel as if though like suddenly out of nowhere you just like are done with them. You know, they thought they were getting away with how they were treating you. They thought that they were okay, you know, or that you were okay, you know, because they didn't really consider your feelings in the first place. And you know what I'm talking about, Pile 2, so don't even act like you don't. And I also feel like with the Hierophant card, you know people. I just feel like you have a lot of connections or that you know your way around when it comes to society and when it comes to like anything that involves communities, you know. I feel like if someone comes up to you and be like, hey, like, do you know where I can get this? You'll be like, oh, I know a guy, you know. Like, you just have a lot of good connections. Whether or not you are like, you know, like very invested in these connections, it's just like you know people and you don't really have enemies. I don't really feel like you have enemies, honestly, Pile 2. That's a very specific message, so it may not resonate with all of you, but I just feel like there's no cards here that indicate you having like major enemies or like an arch nemesis, you know. I just feel like you're a very like fun, you know, goofy person to be around, and you're very interesting, and you're very just like, you know, you're just very careless, you know. People are like, why would you hate Pile 2, you know? And I feel like this adds on to the intimidation because people sometimes, I wouldn't be surprised if people go crazy when they don't like you or when people have like a negative experience of you or they feel like, you know, they're just like, oh my gosh, like everyone likes Pile 2 except me. Like something's, like is something wrong with me, you know? I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people have literally gaslit themselves because like they just have a problem with you or, you know, something of the sorts, you know, or they're intimidated by you. It doesn't even have to be like they are on bad terms with you. They're just like, they just feel like their intimidation is wrong or, you know, and I know you don't want these people to feel that type of way, but they just can't help it because they just don't know how to feel about you, you know? They're just like, oh my god, like I need to stop feeling this way about Pile 2, but I just do, you know? Or maybe sometimes people are like attracted to you with the Devil card here. And they're like, no, stop it, you know? Like people, like you're just so magnetic and people like it seems as if though they lose control over their composure a little bit around you and it makes them very nervous, you know. Maybe not in the moment do they notice it, but later on they're like, why did I get so flustered around Pile 2 or why did I get so blank around Pile 2, you know? I think I'm going to sum up your reading, Pile 2, by saying that you are just a very intuitive person and you're somebody like starfish vibes. Like someone breaks off a limb, you will just grow it back and then that limb will like grow into another starfish. Not like exactly like that, but you know what I mean. And you're just somebody who, no matter how much you get put through, you're always going to come back even stronger and even better. And also, you just have a lot of allure about you, if you know what I mean. Like, you're very attractive, you're very hot, and people are very intimidated by you. And they just notice that, like, you're just very beautiful, and that you're like, you just have like a bite to you. And also, like, you're able to make good out of any situation, no matter how bad or good it is. And you have just moved on from the craziest things. And you're also willing to cut off anybody, no matter how invested you were in the connection or anything of the sorts. You know a lot of people, but you're willing to cut them all off if it means it's in the name of your own peace and sanity. And I also feel like you just know your way around places, and you just know how to navigate your own emotions and your own pain and stuff. And it's very intimidating to people because they feel as if though they can't get a hold of you, or people feel like they can't control you, which they cannot, which makes them very nervous and very intimidated. So yeah, that's all I have for you, Pile 2. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if the reading resonated. If you want a personal reading, I link my Etsy shop in the description box below, so be sure to check that out if you want to. And other than that, thank you so much for watching again. I love you. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. If you chose Zubat, this is going to be your reading for why are others intimidated by you? And before anything, Pile 3, tell me why I was just laying down and I just realized I left my third chapstick stick that I bought in the car, and it's probably melted. That is the third time I've done that, and I'm so annoyed right now. I cannot believe that happened to me. But anyways, so a little bit about Zubat before, while I'm shuffling. Zubat is a poison flying type, the pre-evolved form of Golbat, and it was introduced in Gen 1, and then in Gen 4, they added a third evolution, which is Crobat. I think it could have been in the third generation, but I do think it was a fourth gen. Could be wrong. But Crobat is literally one of my all-time favorite Pokemon. Every single time I play through one of the games where Fly is needed, Crobat. Like, just every single time. I don't know why the appeal is. I just love it. Anyways, let's get into your reading. I hope my chapstick's okay. If it isn't, I'm just gonna bring it back inside and just let it be. I don't know. Why are people intimidated by Pile 3? Why are others intimidated by Pile 3? Why are others intimidated by Pile 3? I want to take this one. We have the world. And this one too. And Queen of Pentacles. So I feel like you're very innovative and also we also have the Three of Swords on the bottom of the deck. Pile 3, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like you have like this resourcefulness about you. I just feel like with the Queen of Pentacles, you may come off as very steady and very grounded. You may be somebody who knows how to be logical and reason with everything. I feel like people are very intimidated by the fact that you are very intelligent and you know how to navigate the material world perfectly. I just feel like you know how to be stable. You just know yourself very well to understand your triggers and understand what bothers you and understand what to stay away from. Perhaps maybe if you're anything like me, you go through the craziest inconveniences, and now I know to just never leave my chapstick anywhere except my pocket when I'm outside of the house. I'm not gonna let it go. Anyway, let me not. I feel like what I'm trying to say here is that you're just somebody who knows their limits and you know your boundaries very well, and people are very intimidated by that. Pile 3, you just give off this vibe of somebody who knows how to take care of themselves and somebody who understands self-care. Sorry, the cards are like lopsided and it was like bothering me. But I just feel like people understand that you know your limits and your self-care regimes, and whether or not they actually know what composes your regimes. And also with the World card, I also feel like you're somebody who, this goes kind of a bunch of different ways. I feel like with the World card, you've released a lot of things, because I noticed in the card she's actually like releasing a hat into the wind, And I just feel like you've released a lot of unhealthy things, and you've released a lot of things that no longer serve you. And because of that, you just have like this glow about you. I don't know, Pile 3. I feel like the best way to say it is, you know how when you're just like, everything just going well, and suddenly like your skincare routine, it just starts doing even more than it was before. You're just glowing, you know, you just know how to take care of yourself, you know how to maintain yourself. And with the Queen of Pentacles, I just feel like people see that you may also be somebody who just is very rich, or somebody who has a lot of money, or somebody who knows how to maintain their finances very well, you know. It doesn't really matter whether or not you do feel as if though you have enough money. You're just somebody who comes off as very financially well off, and somebody who knows how to manage their finances very well. And I wouldn't be surprised if people are very shocked by, you know, like your job or like your income, because maybe they just feel like the way they just like feel like you're making way more money than you may actually be making. Doesn't really matter what the case is there. It's just the point is that you come off as somebody who knows how to manage money. And also with the world card, I was gonna also say, it feels like you're also somebody who is very well traveled, or somebody who is very well educated, because the world card often to me talks about the actual physical world. But people, this is like a very specific message, but I feel like you run into tourists a lot, or people that come into, you know, people who see you in public and stuff. I feel like a lot of the people that are especially intimidated by you are people who aren't natives, or people who aren't, you know, like indigenous to the area, whether or not they were born there or something of the sort, you know. Just people who don't really live in the area that you live in are especially intimidated by you, because they realize how comfortable you are with the area that you live in, and how aware you are of the area that you live in. And it's just like, I don't know how to describe it, Pile 3, you know, like you just mind your own business. And I feel like people are very intimidated by that, because, you know, this reading, it feels like I can't really pick up on that much, or it feels as if though like there's a lot that I'm missing, and it just comes off as you're just somebody who minds their own business, and somebody who keeps a lot of their life confidential, because you're just focused on your career, you're focused on something else. There's just other things that you would rather give your attention to, because there are things that are way more important that are soliciting your attention and energy. And as a result, people just like, they just stay out of your way, you know? Like you just move about your life with a lot of conviction, because there are things that you're focused on. And whether or not people know what it is that you're focused on, people just understand that you are doing something right now, and that you are busy, and you know that you are, where you are right now is on purpose. People get very intimidated by that, I'm not gonna lie. And I also feel like the people that are especially intimidated by you are just people who don't have their goals together, or people who feel like a lack of direction within their own goals, you know. I just feel like these people, you may have attracted some of these people before, but they're just people who, they just like don't really know what they want to do, you know. They might be doing something, you know, they could be in school, they could be working, you know, but they just like, they can't handle the responsibilities of aging. They can't handle the responsibilities of moving forward. They can't handle the responsibilities of just life, you know. They can't handle as well as you do, or the way you come off as you do. And because of that, they're just very intimidated by you. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people want to learn from you, or a lot of people seek your guidance or your advice, because they feel as if though like you have a lot of good advice to give. Why else are others intimidated by Pile 3? We also have Wheel of Fortune. I'm not gonna lie, Pile 3, I wouldn't be surprised if you make your own luck. We also have the Lovers card. You could be a Gemini. I feel like Geminis are like very busy all the time, you know. I feel like there's also a lot of Capricorn energy here, just like Earth energy. Lots of Earth has been present today in all the readings. But for your pile, I feel like Capricorn and Gemini are especially present, especially within the big three, the Mars and Venus. It doesn't matter if you have that placement or not. It's just for those that need the extra confirmation. But we also have all the fixed signs here with the Wheel of Fortune. And I feel like with the Wheel of Fortune, you just make your own luck, you know? You're just able to kind of change the tides in your own life. And I feel like this applies to those people that are a little bit more fond of you or know you at a more intimate level. These people are very intimidated by the fact that you're able to do what it is that you want to do and seemingly just make it happen, you know? I feel like the changes that you want in your life, you seemingly just like manufacture them, and it almost seems as if though you literally made it happen, whether or not you actually did. And I feel like with the Lovers card, you also have a very good relationship with yourself, or the way you maintain your relationships is very intimidating. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like the people you surround yourself with and the people you associate with, you don't like being around people who don't practice hygiene, people who don't take care of themselves, people who don't have goals, you know, just anything of the sort, you know, people who are misaligned, misguided, and just not properly healing or healed. I don't know. But anyways, I feel like you just choose to not surround yourself with these people unless there is a good reason why they are in your life, you know? And because of that, I feel like your relationships and your associations are also very intimidating, because people feel as if they'll like, oh, like, you know, if they're like attracted to you, or, you know, if they want to be a friend, like, oh, they would never be friends with someone like me, or, oh, they would never be attracted to somebody like me, you know? They just feel as if though, like, you give those vibes as like, I don't know, like you only surround yourself with the baddest, you know, like whether or not that's actually your motto or whether or not these are the people you actually hang out with, it's just the way that you are very socially selective, and the people that you choose to surround yourself with are of high standards, just like you know. You very much like to be around people who are like-minded, and people notice this about you and they're very intimidated. People who, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of mutuals are also very, you know, scared of you or very intimidated by you, because the way people talk about you is very high. People talk very highly of you, and they talk about you as of because you are a very reputable person and somebody who has a very good reputation, somebody who has a good slate, somebody who means business. And these people that hear about you through, you know, word of the mouth are very, you know, they're very like intimidated by you. Like they're very like leered. I don't know, like, I don't know if that's the word, but I'm trying to think of another word besides intimidating, because it's just like, yes, they are intimidated, but it's like they're very daunted, you know, they are very like wary, they are very like, they are aware of you. You know what I mean, Pilot 3? These people know of you, they've heard of you, and I feel like whether or not they are afraid of you or something of the sorts, they know of you, and that really does add to the whole factor, because, you know, whether or it's just everyone seems to know of you, you know, and it's just like, wow, like it seems as if though I keep hearing about Pilot 3, I've heard about them, you know, or when people meet you, they're probably like, oh, I've heard about you, and something of that vibe, you know, somebody who seems to have like a preconceived notion about you simply because they've already heard about you or because they already knew of you before they even spoke to you. And it can be very like confusing, because I feel like people meet you and they're like, oh wow, like you aren't what I heard about you, you know, like, oh, I heard this about you, but like I don't know what I was expecting, but you know, it wasn't this, you know, because I feel like with the Queen of Pentacles, you're seeming like you're surprisingly down to earth, and not like in a bad surprising way, but more so no, they just, people don't really know what to expect when they come forth towards you, or when people get the privilege of interacting with you, because they're just like, oh wow, like I never thought I'd be talking to Pilot 3, nor did I know what I wanted to hear from Pilot 3. I don't know what I was expecting from them, you know? And so as a result, I just feel like people are always surprised by you, or people just seemingly, you know, they just, it's like a can, it's just like box of chocolates kind of vibes, you know? Why else are people intimidated by Pilot 3? I also feel like you're a very cut to the chase person. Like, I just feel like you don't really, you're not a big conversationalist, or you're not somebody who is particularly interested in small talk or, you know, petty conversations. I feel like you're the kind of person that doesn't mind small talk. You'll get into it. But I feel like if it's clear to you that the person that you're talking to doesn't want to get to know you more, you're just not into it, you know? I just feel like you're a very straight to the point person. And maybe sometimes you can be a little bit deadpan, or you can be somebody who just like cuts through the BS a lot. Or somebody will be like, hey, like I was just wondering, because, and you'd be like, okay, can you cut to the chase, please? Like, I don't appreciate you wasting my time. I just want to know what you're all about. And I feel like people get a little bit nervous around you or a little bit flustered around you because of that. And it's not like you're not doing that in a mean way. You just don't like when people, like are overly wordy or overly talkative for no reason. I feel like you just aren't that big on noise. You probably aren't that big on parties, loud music or something of the sorts. And maybe you are into those things within moderation, but I just feel like you're not a party person or you're not somebody who likes excessive noise. And I wouldn't be surprised if people agitate you frequently of that. I feel like you have a very short temper when it comes to those kind of things. I feel like you're somebody who is very susceptible to overstimulation or just being overstimulated or just somebody who just, doesn't vibe that kind of way. Why else are others intimidated by pile 3? Why are others intimidated by pile 3? Why are others intimidated by pile 3? I want to take these two. They're just like jutting out. We have the Star and Two of Wands. Yeah, I think it's interesting that we pulled the Two of Wands because, we also have Judgment. I feel like the Two of Wands and the World card together is very symbolic of somebody who is very curious and somebody who is very eager to learn. But with that being said, with that deadpan energy that I was talking about, I just feel like you're also somebody who likes to get to the bottom of things very quickly. I feel like you don't really like it when people kind of beat around the bush with you. And I feel like it agitates you because you're just somebody who maybe you could be very impatient too, and I feel like people get very nervous because of that, because they don't want to like waste your time or they don't want to like keep you up or like keep you waiting. And I feel like maybe sometimes this impatience can also really agitate you. But I also feel like with the Star card, you may be somebody who can't really sit still, or you may be somebody who is just always looking to see how they can take the next big step, especially within their career or within things that they are heavily invested in. It doesn't really have to be career. It could just be hobbies. It could be a project, it could be school. It doesn't really matter. Just things of that nature, things that matter to you, pile 3. And people are really intimidated by this because, like I said, you are probably somebody who knows how to create their own luck, and you're somebody who knows how to make the changes that they want to see happen. And people are very alarmed by that, People are very scared by that because they feel like you're able to just do whatever it is that you want, or you just come off as somebody who is very in control of the circumstances, and that's very nerve-wracking to people. And people feel like you are not somebody that they want to be enemies with, or you are not somebody that they want to be on the opposing side with. And I also feel like with this Judgment card, you could also have very high standards. Like I said, you just have you come off as somebody who doesn't really settle that often. So I feel like as a result, you may be somebody who is very critical, or somebody who can be a little bit nitpicky of the things around you. It doesn't matter what it is. And I just feel like people get very nervous because of that. And I don't think that you're rude about it. I don't think that you're directly nitpicky, or maybe you are. I don't know. But I just feel like it doesn't really matter whether or not you are a nitpicky person or somebody who, openly criticizes things. I just feel like people feel like you would, or that people feel like you are thinking some sort of way, or that you clearly have a developed opinion on things that have been introduced to you, Especially when people get nervous because they are like, oh, I don't know if you like this, but do you want to go here? I just feel like people get very nervous when they're introducing things to you. There we go. And with the Star card, I also feel like you very much have your own motives. You have your own goals, And I've been saying this throughout the whole reading, you are just somebody who is very eyes on the prize. And this focused energy comes out in a bunch of different ways, and a bunch of different people have all sorts of colorful reactions to it. But I just feel like a lot of the intimidation that people feel for you is transmuted very frequently into respect, because people very much see that you mind your own business, you're doing your own thing, you're getting on with it, you know? And I just feel like those that do continue to be scared, or people who continue to feel insecure, are the people who don't really have their own life going the way that they want it to. And so therefore, as a result, they are very threatened. They feel very threatened by you. I'm not gonna lie, pile 3. They feel threatened. They feel nervous. And I know what you're probably thinking. Like, actually, I don't know what you're thinking, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you're just somebody who, you're just like, okay, that's their problem, you know, like, get it out of my face. But yeah, I'm gonna pull a few more cards. I feel like your reading's gonna be a lot shorter than piles 1 and 2, maybe even 4, because I just feel like you know what I'm talking about, and I feel like this is like a huge confirmation reading, because I feel like you're also a very good judge of character, which also really makes people nervous, because you're somebody who can spot a bad person very quickly, and I'm sure you've gotten that a lot from previous readings, even on my channel, because I just feel like you are that person that is just a very good judge of character, and you're able to get a very good read on people very quickly based on their actions. I feel like you have a hawk's eye when it comes to those kind of things, and I feel like you're able to spot things very quickly. And I also feel like with the Star card and the Queen of Pentacles, you have like this managerial energy about you. I wouldn't be surprised if at work, or if you work, or you previous jobs, whatever the case may be, I feel like you were frequently somebody who was always in control, or somebody who was able to climb the ladder very quickly, or just somebody who was kind of the boss, or somebody who got promoted to the manager very easily, just because you have such a good work ethic and you're very good at managing stressful situations. I feel like you're able to keep your cool in situations where others would quite actually just lose their mind and explode, you know? And people are very excuse me, people are very intimidated by that, because it just doesn't seem like a lot gets under your skin, you know? People don't really feel as if though there's anything that could really slow you down, or keep you from getting to where you want to be, or, you know, hindering you in any sort of way. So it's very nerve-wracking, you know? And I wouldn't be surprised if you hear from like old workers be like, hey, like, you were the manager, or like, you were the coworker that everyone was like scared of, you know? Or something of the sorts, and you're like, oh, why? You know, it's like, you don't even intend to do these things. It's just how you roll. And people get very nervous about it. And when people bring it up to you, you're like, that's just how I'm trying to be, you know? I wouldn't be surprised if it surprises you, or just like you look down on them. You're like, wow, like, really? Anyways, why else are others intimidated by pile 3? Why else are others intimidated by pile 3? We also have Page of Swords. Why else are others intimidated by pile 3? Kind of want to take this one. And King of Pentacles. Wow. And then Judgment card again. It's back. She's back, y'all. But I just feel like with the Page of Swords, the first thing that came out to me, you know, when somebody is just so like serious, and somebody who is just like so like poker face, and then like they just suddenly crack the most ridiculous, most like, oh my gosh, I never thought that would come out of your mouth kind of joke. I just feel like this is something that really shocks people. I'm not gonna lie, pile 3. I feel like sometimes people are surprised that you even have a sense of humor. Not like in a rude way. I wouldn't be surprised if these people haven't told you that because they would be scared of your reaction. But like, I feel like Page of Swords, I see it as a very hesitant card. And the reason I brought up humor is because I feel like this kind of goes two ways. One, I feel like you are somebody who does, in fact, have a very rich sense of humor. With the Pentacles here, I feel like you have an eye for comedy or for drama. So you probably do enjoy like stand-up comedy, or, you know, just comedians, or just anything that makes you laugh, you know. I feel like you are very big on laughing, and I do think that you understand that you have emotions, clearly. We all do, but, you know, I just feel like you are aware of your own emotions on a different level and in a different way. That is one that's very bespoke to you. And this definitely also freaks people out because they have trouble understanding the way you function when it comes to your feelings. But also with the flip side on the Page of Swords, I also feel like people are very hesitant to talk to you, or very hesitant to, you know, like make moves on you or say something to you, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if you've had a lot of secret admirers or people that have crushes on you, and they just like never tell you. There are people that literally fall in love with you and you would never know, pile 3. I think that's all of us, but for you especially, because I just feel like the way you carry yourself is very attractive. And I feel like with the page of swords, people are also very nervous to tell you anything, you know? I feel like, you know, if someone's like, hey, can you tell pile 3 this? That person's like, oh my gosh, why are you making me do it? You know, so they'll be like, hey, pile 3, I was told by this person to tell you this, you know? I'm just a messenger, so, you know, I feel like that's the kind of vibe a lot of people embody when they're trying to talk to you, you know? And it's like, I hate for it to be painted in a way that makes you seem like you're just like a scary, unapproachable person, but more so in a way that you just carry yourself in a way that you don't tolerate BS, and people get very scared of that because they know that you're going to speak your mind and say your 2 cents no matter how harsh it may come off. But at the same time, like, I think that's why the people that do choose to be around you and the people who do have the privilege of staying in your life stay because they just love that about you, you know? Like, what is so admirable and lovable about you is exactly what intimidates others and exactly what repels those that know that they wouldn't be able to get away with the behavior that they, you know, participate in outside of being around you, you know, because you're simply just not going to tolerate it and you're going to call it out very easily. I think I'm going to sum up your reading, pile 3, by saying that you're just somebody who is very down to earth and somebody who is a very cut to the chase kind of person and somebody who is really no nonsense. And so as a result, people are very intimidated by that, especially people that get to know you more, because even at first glance, like, you are very like intimidating and somebody who can be very stoicism. I don't know. Because like, you're just like very detached, you know, whether or not you are detached when someone gets to know you, but you just have a very detached and emotionless demeanor and somebody who is very indifferent about the things that are going on around them. And so as a result, it feels like people really wouldn't be able to get through to you, or that they are very nervous to approach you because they don't know if you would have a reaction, you know. But on the flip side of that, I feel like people, as they get to know you, they think that this demeanor would, like, you know, like melt down, or that it's just like how you impression. But like the reality of it is that like you just don't tolerate BS even when people get to know you, you know. Like, you're just somebody who is very guarded and somebody who very much finds security within themselves, within the things that they invest their energy, their time, their money into, you know. And also, speaking of money, like I said, you're probably also very big on finances, and you're probably somebody who knows how to manage their money very well, you know, and somebody who just knows how to kind of keep to themselves, mind their own business, and stay in their own lane. And I feel like people very much respect that, but also something about that just like intimidates them because they would never want to be on the opposing side or like be your enemy. So yeah. That's all I have, pile 3. Thank you so much for watching. If the reading resonated, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those down in my Etsy shop. I linked it in the description box because people ask me. But other than that, I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. Bye. Hello, pile 4. If you chose Pumpkaboo, this is going to be your reading for why are others intimidated by you, and perhaps who is intimidated by you. Oh my gosh, pile 4. I haven't really eaten today yet because I just don't have an appetite, you know, early in the day. It's nothing bad. And like, my stomach started growling during pile 3. And like, I know they noticed because like, come on now. But like, I'm about to go edit that out and be like, girl. But anyways, a little bit about pile 4. I was ranting to pile 3. Because I left my chapstick in my car and I know she's melted. And that's my 3rd stick that I've done that to. Anyways, a little bit about Pumpkaboo. Pumpkaboo is a grass ghost type, and the pre-evolved form of Gorgeist debut generation was Gen 6 in X and Y. And the way you evolve it is by trading it, which is kind of annoying. Don't tell anyone I said that, but I just think it's annoying. And yeah, it's such a cute Pokemon. I love Pumpkaboo. I actually have a Pumpkaboo plushie. I don't know if you guys want to see it. Actually, I'm gonna go get it. Hold on. I promise we're gonna get into it, but I just really want to show you. I just have to show you. It's literally right here. Okay, I found it. See, look, isn't it so cute? I want a Gorgeist plushie too, but I don't know. I just think it's so adorable. I'm just gonna leave it right here. Actually, no. Let's just leave it right here, you know? I'll poke its head out so you can see it. Anyways, also pile 4, if you love like game music, or like you want to check out a song, you should check out the Lumio City theme from X and Y. I've been listening to it. It's so good. Anyways, why are others intimidated by pile 4? Why are others intimidated by pile 4? Why are others intimidated by pile 4? We have 3 of Swords. Why are others intimidated by pile 4? Page of Swords. One more card. Why are others intimidated by 4? This one. And King of Wands. I'm also going to ask for a clarifier for this 3 of Swords because I'm like kind of confused. What is this 3 of Swords? How does it pertain to pile 4 being intimidating? Oh, we have the Hierophant. And we also have Temperance. So I feel like, honestly, like I'm getting a bunch of different things, but I just think that with the King of Wands and the Hierophant defining the 3 of Swords, I feel like you're somebody who is very passionate and somebody who pushes through against all odds. Like you're somebody who is constantly working against the pressure and somebody who very much goes against the tide sometimes. I feel like you have like this rebellious energy about you, pile 4. I'm not gonna lie, because of the Temperance card, you could have Sagittarius, or with the Hierophant, Taurus in your chart. And whether or not you actually do, I just feel like you may be somebody who likes challenging the norm, or you may be somebody who likes challenging things. I don't know, like you just come off as like a very competitive, or somebody who is a very thought-provoking person, and not like in a bad way, but just somebody who isn't afraid of controversy if it means getting your point across. And I just feel like with the Page of Swords, people are very intimidated by this because like they know that you aren't going to back down from a fight, or they know that you aren't going to, you know, give in to their beliefs just because they quote unquote may be making more sense, you know? You're just not somebody who's going to cave into the circumstances, or you're not somebody that's going to cave into somebody else's reasoning. And I feel like you're a firm believer within your own, you know, beliefs and the practices you participate in. And I feel like the reason I'm saying this is because like my thought process here is with the Hierophant card defining the 3 of Swords. The 3 of Swords is clearly about heartbreak. It's about pain, emotional damage. And the Hierophant is about structure and religion and things of that sort. Or, you know, anything that is structural and anything that is very societal or community based, at least in my eyes. So like when you combine those two energies together, it makes me think of somebody who has been criticized by the, you know, community, and somebody who has, you know, been judged for their beliefs or has had their beliefs attacked, you know. And whether or not that is the case for you, pile 4, what I'm trying to say is that the product is that somebody who isn't afraid to speak their mind, and somebody who isn't afraid of other people's opinions and or their beliefs, especially when it comes to your own beliefs. I just feel like what I'm trying to say here is if people don't respect you, you simply just are not going to respect them either. I feel like you're not somebody who quote unquote likes being the bigger person often, because I feel like you're going to be the one to be like, hey, you treated me like garbage and you suck, so please get out of my face and never get in it ever again. Bye. Like, I'll send you a postcard. And I just feel like you're somebody who has a bite, you know, somebody who is very challenging, and somebody who likes to stand up for themselves, and somebody who can also maybe be a little bit short-tempered. I feel like I'm getting some of that in here. I feel like with the Temperance card, you try to manage yourself a lot, and you probably are somebody who's very calm and cool and collected. I feel like you're a very caring person, you know, especially with the way I acted in like the first like 2 minutes of your reading, literally all over the place, and you're still here, you know. If you're not still here, you wouldn't be able to hear that, so there's that. I'll leave that there. But I guess what I'm trying to say here, pile 4, is that you're a very nice person until you're crossed, or until you're not. You know what I mean? I just feel like you know what I'm talking about. You're like, yeah, I'm a great person. I love being nice to people until I'm not, you know? And not like for no reason, you know? You're not like switching up or anything. It's just like I feel like you don't tolerate people betraying you, people backstabbing you, people doing you incorrectly. I feel like this also transfers in a bunch of different ways, because I feel like your friends may also be like part of this, in the sense that if someone says something to your friend, you'll be the first one to be like, give me your phone, I'm calling this person and I'm flaming them because they should not be treating you like this, you know? You know, whether or not you'd actually do that, it's that kind of vibe. I feel like you're a very protective person, not only of yourself and what you believe in and what you believe to be true, but also the people and things that you care about. You may be very possessive in that sense, or you may be somebody who is very, you know, you cling very tightly onto the things that you like or the things that you believe in. And I just feel like with the Page of Swords, you may have attracted a lot of people that have like opinions that conflict with your own, you know? I don't know, like, I just feel like you're somebody who likes debating, and you're somebody who likes discussing, somebody who loves talking. You just love talking. You could have like a lot of Mercurial placements within your chart, or like a very heavy Mercury placement. So you could have like lots of Virgo or Gemini in your chart, especially like in your Mercury or within like your Mars. You just may be a very talkative person, you know? I just feel like, you know, and not like in a bad way, not like, oh, but more so in a way that's just like, you love talking, you love exchanging ideas, you love learning about something new. Like, I just feel like you have like this huge, like, how do I say, you just have such a knack for learning new things, and this intimidates people because you're always learning something new, you know? I feel like that's very intimidating, but like in a very specific way, especially if you are somebody who is into school, or somebody who loves studying, or somebody, you know, that's in a group or something. That's like a specific message for some of you. But even then, people just like notice that you're always, you know, reading, or that you're always looking into something, that you're always learning something new. You'll be like, oh, I watched this video the other day, or oh, I read this thing the other day, or oh, I heard about this the other day. You're just constantly absorbing information, whether it be from people, media, it doesn't matter. And that's very, you know, intimidating about you, because like, first of all, it would be very hard to like come at you sideways with information, or it would be very difficult to argue with you, or it'd be very difficult to debate with you. I wouldn't be surprised if you're very good at arguing, or if people don't win arguments against you very often. And that seems as if though, because like I feel like a lot of the time people pick fights with you, not the other way around. I feel like you're just ready to discuss, and I feel like you're ready to talk to people, but I feel like when they come at you sideways and, you know, they start to provoke something, you're like, girl, let me shut this down before it even begins, so please do not begin with me. And I just feel like you're somebody who just, you know what I mean? Like, you're just very aggressive when it comes to people who decide to just come out of the doors, guns blazing, you know, like Braveheart, you know, yelling at you. You're just like, you literally put your hands up like this. You're like, please chill. Just calm down, okay? And I just feel like, I don't know, like, people just like get very frustrated because they can't win with you, you know? And also with the King of Wands, I think that you're also a very fiercely motivated person, or you're somebody who, when you're feeling something, or when you're feeling passion for something, the way you go all in out of nowhere is crazy. People notice this about you. People notice that, like, when you're invested in something, it's either A, because you're like really, like, you're literally just invested in something. When you're into something, it's clear to tell that you want to do it and that you're very passionate about it. I feel like not very often will people catch you doing something that you hate, or doing something that you don't feel like doing. And I feel like this translates into a bunch of different ways, because people feel like, oh, like, if they don't do things that they don't like, then they probably wouldn't be around people that they don't like, or they probably wouldn't date someone that they don't like, you know? Something of that nature, you know? You're just a very honest person, somebody who's very unfiltered, unhinged at times maybe. And I feel like people are very intimidated by that, you know? Because they just feel like you aren't afraid to speak your mind. And let's be honest here, Pile 4, that all on its own is very, you know, intimidating to be around, you know? It's very like, and I wouldn't be surprised if people frequently try to intimidate you, or people try to, you know, like, get the upper hand on you, or try to one-up you constantly. And this is because people are competing with you. I will not lie. With the King of Wands, it doesn't really matter whether or not they intend to compete with you. It's just like, it just comes out of them, you know? They naturally just start, like, trying to one-up you, trying to, like, you know, get through to you, or something of the sort, you know? I wouldn't say some of these people are even doing it on purpose. I just feel like it just gets brought out. It gets brought out of them when they're around you, because I do feel as if though they see you as somebody who is like a know-it-all, or somebody who is very intelligent, somebody who's just very smart, and they just want to feel like they have something on you, you know, even though they probably don't. And I know you know what I'm talking about, because you've probably had multiple experiences where you're like, that was weird, or why did this person say this to me, or why did this person act this way around me? It's literally because they were trying to compete with you, and they were trying to just like beat you in something that literally wasn't even a competition. And I wouldn't be surprised if this sparks a lot of friction within your relationships, because sometimes I feel like you attract people that pretend to be that want to be your friend, but then you find out that they aren't trying to grow with you or anything. They're literally just trying to, you know, compete with you, and they're trying to one up you, and they're trying to have something on you. And I feel like this has been a consistent theme within your entire life, and I feel like you know what I'm talking about, pile 4. But yeah, I just feel like people try to like get the upper hand on you, or people that try to like act like they're better than you, or you know, like dismiss you. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the past you've been treated very badly because of this, or people have like, you know, treated you really just weird, or said some horrible things to you or about you. And you know, whether or not that's actually the case, it's just like, you know. And for some of you with the Hierophant card, this could have been during school, this could have been during a job or something of that nature, you know. There's just people that are very insecure around you, and they just don't know how to handle it, besides trying to tear you down, because it's like, it's easier to see you, like it's easier to imagine you falling down with your ego as opposed to these people lifting themselves up, you know. And I feel like you very much understand this, and that's why I feel like you have particularly calibrated, I don't know where I was going with that. What I'm trying to say is that I feel like you've grown a very thick skin to other people's opinions, and other people, you know, like trying to criticize you and stuff like that, because I feel like you understand your own limits, you understand your own boundaries, you very much understand your own beliefs, and you have a lot of facts to back these things up. And so as a result, it's just like no one can really get through to you unless, you know, they get really close to you. But I just feel like you're somebody who's a very good judge of character, and you're very good at picking out the little details about people that indicate red flags. And as a result, it's just like people feel like they can't come up to you just like 75% or 99%. They have to be 100% with you. And I feel like if it's anything less, you'll get like the ick, and I feel like you'll be like, girl, bye. I'm just gonna leave. So see you later. Why else are others intimidated by pile 4? Why else are others intimidated by pile 4? This card is like sticking out. We also have Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, lots of earth energy here, honestly. Why else are others intimidated by pile 4? And the Lovers. Yes, with that Gemini energy, I swear. And we also have the Magician. Oh my gosh, pile 4. I love this. I love this for you. And the reason I love this for you is because I feel like with the Magician card, with the way that you understand information, and with the way that you're constantly absorbing anything that has to do with information, or, you know, just anything, any context, I feel like you're able to absorb it so quickly. Your attention span is probably so good. I feel like you're somebody who is able to multitask or juggle a bunch of different things at once. Maybe there will be some inconveniences along the way, but I just feel like you have a lot of mutable in your chart. So you could have Virgo, Gemini, especially those placements. I feel like you could have lots of Virgo or Gemini within your chart, and Pisces and Sagittarius, you know. You could probably have a mutable Mercury. So like you could have like a Virgo, Sagittarius, Gemini, or Pisces, Mercury, or the corresponding houses within your Mercury. So your Mercury could be in one of those houses, you know. So the 6th, 3rd, 9th, or 12th house. Whether that be the case or not. But I just feel like with the Lovers card, you're just somebody who is also very in tune with themselves. And you're probably also somebody who is very, how do I say, agitated? Not like in a bad way, but somebody who is always on the move, and somebody who's always flipping between different moods, you know. I feel like you could be a very moody person, or somebody who is very like susceptible to their environment. Just somebody who, you know, with the Queen of Pentacles, I feel like you're very in tune with your own body. And I feel like this intimidates people, because like I feel like you have like a very healthy regime, or you're somebody who's very health oriented. And I feel like people who aren't very health oriented get very insecure around you, because they're like, oh my gosh, pile 4 uses vitamin C serum on their face every single night, and I don't do that. and now I just feel like my skin's breaking out and theirs isn't, you know? It's just like people are astounded by how much you learn. And I feel like sometimes people with an ego aren't willing to accept your advice. And I think that you know this, Pile 4. I wouldn't be surprised if you have some experiences of people not listening to you and things going exactly the way as you predicted them to. So like people are like, you're like, hey, you should use this toner or else you might break out because this is the only good toner around right now. And they'll be like, no, I'm good. And they just like don't use toner on their face during their skincare and their face breaks out. And they're like, oh my God, my face broke out. And you'll be like, girl, I literally told you, use this toner so your face doesn't break out. And then they use it and it like works. And you're just like, girl, you could have listened to me in the first place, you know? And they're like, you know, I just feel like there's a lot of that. And I feel like you do not tolerate that anymore. I feel like, ooh, just saying that, I feel like you're just like, girl, like I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm about to go crazy. And with the Queen of Pentacles, with the Hierophant card being present here and the Magician, I just feel like you know exactly what you want. You know exactly what it is that you need, and you know exactly how to plan things out and make things go the way that you want them to. I feel like you're a very persuasive person, or you're somebody who has a easy time convincing people to do things the way that you want them to do it, and not like in an evil, malicious way, but more of just like in a very considerate way, you know? But at the same time, this kind of intimidates people because people notice that people just listen to you, or people frequently take your advice, or that even if they don't, they see the repercussions of not taking your advice, you know? You're just very intelligent, and people get very intimidated and frustrated that you're always right, or that you always had like a part of the answer in the first place, or that you know, knew what to do. And I also think that this means that you have very good reflexes, or you are very good at reacting to situations. I feel like change probably does rattle you because we have a lot of earth energy here. Because this Queen of Pentacles, and like with the way I've been describing the reading and the Hierophant card, like I feel like you have like a lot of like earthiness to you. And you know, it's like whether or not change does make you uncomfortable, I feel like you're still able to like react to it accordingly, and you know, like still take a breather and be like, okay, like this happened, so like I need to do this, this, and this, you know? I just feel like you're not somebody who loses their cool often, or I feel like you're just not somebody who panics very often. You're just able to keep your composure very frequently, and this really scares people. Like people feel like there's just no way to really get under your skin, or people feel as if though like you wouldn't care, you know? And it's like, you probably just don't care, you know? You're like, you're all laughing with me right now. I bet you are. If you aren't, just laugh with me. But you know, I just feel like you know how to dismiss people, and you just aren't very accepting of people's opinions when you literally don't even like them, you know? I feel like you're the definition of stop worrying if people like you, and start wondering, do I even like them, you know? I don't know if you know who that reference is. It's Flossie Baby on TikTok. She's so funny. Like, I feel like you also like radiate that vibe, you know, of just somebody who you aren't afraid to express yourself, and you aren't afraid to, you know, speak your mind. And if people agree with you, cool. But I also feel like if people disagree with you, that's also cool. I feel like you're willing to listen out and hear people out on their conflicting opinions. But when people come at you sideways, you're just like, absolutely not, so bye, you know? I feel like you're the kind of person that's like, if it's not going to be a productive conversation, I'm gone, you know? I'm just not fighting with you. What else do we have? Why are others intimidated by Pile 4? Why are others intimidated by Pile 4? Oh, the Magician again. I'll leave that out. So I'll pull 2 more cards. Why are others intimidated by Pile 4? Oh my gosh. It just flew across the freaking ocean. And the Death card popped out too. Okay. That was the 10 of Cups. So much chaos. And then the Death card also came out. These cards are so pretty in this lighting. I don't know. Just me. But... and then on the bottom, oh my gosh, what is the bottom of the deck? What's going on here? The bottom of the deck is Justice. So appropriate. You could also have Libra within your chart, or you may just like, I don't know, like Libra energy may be something that's relevant here. And with the 10 of Cups and the Death card, this is for the people people who are especially most intimidated by you are those that are no longer a part of your life. People who know that have done you wrong, or people who know that you no longer associate with them, I feel like there's no hard feelings. I feel like you're not the kind of person to hold grudges, or I feel like you're not the kind of person to hang on to things for too long, but you will remember. You are a forgive but not forget kind of person, pile 4. And I must say, the people who are most intimidated by you and most afraid of you are those that have done you wrong, seemingly because like they just know that they needed you way more than you needed them. And so as a result, they just know that there's no way to come back to you, because with the 10 of Cups and the Lover's card, I just feel like those that are a part of your life find a lot of wholeness within you, and they find a lot of joy being with you. I feel like you're just such a good person, pile 4. Like, you're just so considerate, and you're just so nice, and you're just so like giving. You know, like you're just such a generous person and somebody who truly does care for the cause. But I also feel as if though, like, you can become very nasty and mean if someone is disrespectful to you or people that you care about. I feel like you just do not tolerate that. And so as a result, I think that the people that have done you wrong very much understand that if they try to come back to you, no matter which way they come back to you, I feel like you just won't have it. I just feel like maybe you won't flame them, or you won't like be like go crazy mode. Maybe you would. But I just feel like for the vast majority of you, you just wouldn't tolerate it. You would just be like, hey, like, no, you treated me like trash and you suck. Just get out of my face, you know? Like, there was no beef between you and me. I'm just done with you, you know? It's not like that anymore. And I just feel like people are very intimidated by that. And I also feel like for those that have had the misfortune of challenging you, or the people, you know, that do try to raise their voice at you, or people who try to like come at you sideways, I feel like they have been very much seated and they have been humble. They have remained in their seats since. And I just feel like you are somebody who is very justice oriented, and you like for things to be as fair as possible. And I feel like when people are unfair to you, or there's a circumstance that is unfair to somebody you care about, or, you know, just yourself, I feel like you very much are not the one to sit by and let it happen. I feel like you will sit up until justice is served, you know? I just feel like with the Death card too, I feel like you also cut off people very easily, or you're not somebody who is going to hang on to something. I feel like you're very ruthless within your own self-growth and within your own journey. You know, I just feel like you take care of yourself very well, and that you very much understand when something is unnecessary or obsolete to your growth and your happiness. And people are very intimidated by that, because you're so big on your boundaries, and you're so big on taking care of yourself, and you're so big on saying no when it is necessary. So as a result, people are very intimidated by that, because you respect yourself. And the reason they are intimidated by that is because they lack self-respect themselves. You know, anything that people come at you sideways for is because they lack it themselves, and they're trying to take it away from you so they don't feel as alone, or they don't feel as bad about themselves. So I think I'm going to sum up this reading by saying, pile 4, like, you're just a very considerate person, and you're very loving, you know? Like, you have a very warm energy to you, almost like a homey vibe, you know? But I also feel as if though, like, you aren't afraid to stand up for it, and you aren't afraid to defend it when someone tries to take that away from you, or someone tries to take away something that you really care about, or hurt something that you care about, or someone, you know? And I also feel as though people are kind of intimidated by your connections. I wouldn't be surprised if people are intimidated by the people you associate with, because I feel like the people you associate with are also very like-minded and very, you know, like, high standard, just like you are. And I feel like you're somebody who's very logical, and somebody who just like is frustratingly always right, and somebody who always knows what's gonna happen. You just have like a very good judge of situation. You're somebody who's very good at reading the circumstances. You're a very good judge of character. People feel very nervous because of that, because they know that they can't lie to you. They know that they can't come at you sideways. And it's frustrating for some of the people that are very low vibration, because they want to come at you sideways, and they want to like, get into it with you, but they feel like they can't, or when they do, they just get shut down immediately. So like, you just have like this untouchable air about you, because you're just always serving justice, and you just do not tolerate unfairness. And it's like, it's even more comical, because people, like, you never start a fight yourself, you know? You're never trying to fight people. You're always down for a productive conversation. You're always down to express your opinions and just talk. But I feel like once the minute people decide to like get all nasty about it, you're just like, girl, let me just crack my knuckles and see, let me show you who you're dealing with, because you chose the wrong one. My best friend in the whole world, I feel like this is going to be her pile, so hey girl. But she's like, I remember this one time we were like play arguing, because we're always getting into it for fun. And I remember I was like, girl, don't. And she was like, I'm not the one. And I just feel like that's your vibe, you know. I feel like when people come at you, you know, people try to like start something of you just say I'm not the one, you know. So yeah. That's all I'm picking up for you, Pile 4. Thank you so much for watching. If the reading resonated, please do like, comment, and subscribe. If you want a personal reading, I offer those in my Etsy shop. I linked it in the description box. Other than that, thank you so much for watching again. I love you. Bye.